wrong, Nigel?
Some blasted thief's stolen our chess club's good luck charm.
Oh, come on, Nigel. You're not superstitious, are you? What was it? A rabbit's foot? A four-leaf clover?
No, this was more of a symbol than a charm, and it's quite valuable. It's a solid gold palm given to the club by the school's founding father, Lord Scrumneypeg. The chess club members have carried it to every tournament for over 50 years. We've got to have it back.
Mrs. Cowslip, the headmistress of Nigel's school, is also their chess club mentor. The headmistress or headmaster of a school is like our American principal. She'll be able to fill us in on what happened.
We've just wrapped up our district chess tourney, and I'm proud to say that Hampstead School has triumphed again. I suspect that it was the Highgate team that made off with our good luck charm. They're not bad sports, but they do love a prank.
Who's on the Highgate team, Mrs. Cowslip? Maybe if we find them, we can get the pawn back.
Simon Thomas, Ian Knight, Peter Cliff and Pravina Zippy make up the Highgate team. I should be surprised if they weren't having quite a snicker over this. You know, this might have something to do with that strange telephone call. Natalie was tidying up this morning and someone called with a mysterious message. I don't recall exactly what she said, but you might catch up with her at the Tower of London. She dashed off there shortly after the call.
This little stunt has Highgate written all over it. Clever bunch, their chess team. Very nearly beat us in the last match of the tourney. We always keep the pawn in its special case here at the Phaeton Club when we're not at tournament. This morning I found it missing and a list of chess moves in its place.
Sorry, Philip, you've lost me. I'm not very familiar with chess. How can you have a list of chess moves?
Chess players use notation to record the moves of a game. A notation explains how a particular piece moved on the chessboard. The list of moves that I found in the pawn's case describes a chess game, but not one we've ever played before. I think the Highgate team want us to set up a chessboard using the list of moves they've left us. It'll take me a bit of time to arrange the chessboard by playing out this game, but I'm sure it will lead us to where they've taken the pawn. In the meantime, you might want to study up. I'm sure that we'll need to solve a chess puzzle in order to get our pawn back.
There's Natalie. I wonder what made her rush down here.
Ah, just the pair we need. That pack of nits at Highgate has nicked old Scrumneypeg's golden pawn. We'll need your help if we're to get it back.
So we heard. Any clues so far?
Well, I got a call this morning. I'm almost sure it was Ian Knight, the captain of the Highgate team. He said, your pawn's been taken, but by whom? Simon the Rook can stop the trail at the castle. Then he laughed and ran off. I know that Simon Thomas, one of their teammates, volunteers here at the tower as a St. Crispin's cadet. The tower is a castle after all, so I headed here. Simon's not much help, though. See if you can get any sense out of him.
Ah, so the Hampsteads need a bit of American aid, do they? Fair enough. I'll tell you what I told Natalie. The court is laid out through London. The Queen's at her palace, the Bishop's at his abbey, and the Knight's gone back to discover our origins. I'm the Rook, here at my castle. You may ask one of us to return the golden pawn, but ask wisely. Only the one who took it will return it. Ask the wrong one, and the pawn stays with Highgate until next year's tournament.
The Queen's at her palace. I can guess where that is. Buckingham Palace, right? The Bishop's at his abbey. Must be Westminster Abbey. But where could the Knight be?
That's for you to suss out. Aren't you America's answers to our Sherlock Holmes? Ah, one more clue, Yanks. Each of us will tell you a tidbit about another member of our team to help you along. I'm to tell you about my mate, the Knight. He's a tricky one, the only one of us who can jump over other pieces. He moves 2 squares one way, up, down, or sideways, then 1 square to either side.
Westminster Abbey is one of the most famous churches in England. For centuries, the kings and queens of England have been crowned, married, and buried here. This is where we'd find a bishop. Let's have a look.
Ah, you must be looking for the bishop. I'm told we have a new bishop today, that young man over there. At least so he asked me to tell you.
Thanks, Father. We're trying to figure out a chess puzzle, and that bishop is a key piece.
Ah, chess, a fascinating and ancient game. People believe it has its roots with the ancient Persians as long ago as the 8th century A.D. I've heard it said that the word chess may come from the Persian word for king, Shah. You know that when a player corners his opponent's king, he cries, checkmate. Well, that word may come from another Persian phrase, Shah Mat, which means the king is dead. Of course, if you're looking for the origin of all board games, you must look to the Egyptians. They played board games with dice as far back as 4000 B.C., nearly 6,000 years ago.
Egyptians. That must be the origins that the knight is looking up. Thanks, Father Jones. We've seen Egyptian artifacts at the British Museum, right? Grab your map of London, and let's see how we get there from here.
Which direction do we need to go in order to get to the British Museum in Bloomsbury? Remember, we're in Westminster Abbey now.
That's right. The British Museum is directly north of here. Let's check there for Highgate's knight.
Oh yes, I'm the bishop. If you think I have your golden pawn, you're welcome to ask for it. But if I didn't take it, you've lost it for the year.
We'll ask when we've got all the clues, Peter. We aren't hasty. Can you tell us anything about the rest of your team?
I can tell you about my mate, the rook. The rook moves in straight lines only. He can move up, down, or sideways, but not diagonally.
Kings and queens aren't the only famous people buried here at Westminster. The guidebook says that this area is called Poets' Corner. Geoffrey Chaucer is buried here, and there are memorials to lots of other great writers. T.S. Eliot, Dylan Thomas, and Shakespeare. There sure is a lot to look at here. I hope we get to come back when we're not on a case. Look, the Union Jack, the British flag, is flying over the palace. That means that the Queen is at home.
Hello, you must be Jake. I guess that Hempstead lot had to call in the cavalry.
Sort of, but who are you?
Normally, I'm Pravina Sippy, but today I'm the Queen. Come to ask me for your pawn, have you?
Not till we have all the facts. What can you tell me about the rest of the Highgate gang?
I can tell you about His Honor the Bishop. He's a crafty one. Never comes at an enemy head-on. He whizzes across the board, diagonally, never up or down.
Excuse me, have you seen anything strange today here at the palace? Hello? Oh, I forgot. The guards here at the palace aren't allowed to speak or even move from their posts when they're on guard. They're not allowed to concentrate on anything except guarding their posts. We won't learn anything from him, I'm afraid. Nope, no sign of the real Queen today. She must be busy inside. Good going. There's our knight now. Ian Knight.
Aha! Messengers from the Hampstead team, no doubt. Have you come to request your pawn? Ask if you like, but if I didn't take it, you'll not get it back this year.
Oh no, not yet. We'll wait until we have all the clues we need. You're the knight, right?
That's right, Ian Knight most days, but the Black Knight today.
What can you tell us about the rest of the team?
Only what I've been told to say about Her Majesty the Queen. The Queen has free reign on the chessboard. She can move in a straight line in any direction, up, down, sideways, or diagonally, as long as the way is clear.
It looks like Philip's got that chessboard set up. Let's have a look.
Philip's played out the game indicated by the list of chess moves left us by the Highgate team. He's got the chessboard set up in its final position. The whole court is there. Bishops, knights, castles, and the king and queen.
Playing out the game by following the notation was rather like playing postal chess, chess through the mail. In games like that, where you can't see the other player's board, you must communicate in notation. When you move a piece, you list the abbreviation of that piece, Q for queen, P for pawn, etc., and the notation for the square it has moved to. P to Q4 would mean that a pawn moved to the fourth space in the queen's column. Using notation, each player can tell exactly where the other has moved, even without seeing the board.
Looks to me like they've set up this game to show which of the pieces will capture or take the gold pawn. That must be our clue. If we can figure out which piece takes the pawn, we'll know which Highgate team member we should ask for it back. Let's see. The gold pawn is on the white side, so we'll need to take a look at the black pieces and see which one could take it. The bishop is diagonally away from the gold pawn. The rook is 3 spaces down and 1 space over from the pawn. The queen is 3 squares away from the gold pawn diagonally and 1 square over to the side. The knight is 2 spaces over from the pawn. Let's take a look at our notes and see which of the pieces can take that gold pawn. We've got this mystery in check. Pick the clues that show you who's holding Lord Scrumneypeg's golden pawn. Those are the clues we need. Now point out who you think has the Hampstead team's lucky charm. You got it! The bishop took the pawn, so our bishop, Peter Cliff, must have Lord Scrumneypeg's golden pawn over at Westminster Abbey. Pravina, who played the queen today, told us that the bishop moves diagonally across the chessboard. We found Peter Cliff at Westminster Abbey, where he told us he was the bishop today. Meanwhile, Philip played out the chess game recorded in the notation that the Highgate team left in the pawn's place. The final position reached by using the notation showed that the black bishop was in the perfect position to take the golden pawn. You broke the Highgate team's chess code.
Thank you.